Good morning, everyone. My name is Laverne Fletcher, the board's agent. I'd like to thank everyone for participating in ABRA's roll call hearings via the WebEx platform provided by the DC Office of Open Government. There are 3 cases on the calendar today. The first case is Cafe Georgetown. This is case number 22PRO00050, EMB International, LLC, 3141 N Street Northwest. License number ABRA 106108. This is a retailer class CR license renewal. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet. My name is Laverne Fletcher, conducting the roll call hearing as the board's agent. Is anyone present on behalf of Cafe Georgetown?
Yes, Ms. Fletcher. My name is Jim Aducey. I am a partner at Cafe Georgetown, and I am joined by the managers and also owners of Cafe Georgetown, Emel and Miriam Barak.
Okay, I'm going to ask each person to state their name and spell it for the record, please.
Yes, the first is myself, James Aducey, ADDUCI.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Emel Bayrak.
Spell it, please.
So E-M-E-L. Last name is Bayrak, B-A-Y-R-A-K.
Yep.
Good morning. Mariam Bayrak, M-E-R-Y-E-M. Bayrak, B-A-Y-R-A-K.
Thank you. Is the protestant present? Okay, while we wait for the protestant is the protestant present now?
Yes. All right. Good morning, Commissioner Moore, present.
Oh,
LA.
Okay. Ms. Moore, this is the case of Cafe Georgetown.
I'm sorry.
That's no problem at all. I'll be calling your case in just a minute. It's
yes,
no
ma'am.
While we wait for the protestant to show up, who is going to be the designated representative for the applicant in this place, in this case? Is it going to be you, Mr. Aducey, or you, Ms.?
Oh, yes. I will present some remarks, and I will be joined by my partners.
And so today we're just going to determine who has standing to file a protest. So that's all that's going to happen today. I just need to know who will we be sending WebEx invitations to in the future. We normally have one person as the designated representative to send our WebEx invitations to.
Yes, you can. Speaking for Cafe Georgetown, you can send them to me, Ms. Fletcher.
Okay.
My email address is my last name, ADDUCI, at Aducey, all lowercase, AduceyLLP.com. Aducey at AduceyLLP.com.
So what I have is Aducey, ADDUCI, at Aducey, ADDUCI, LLP.com.
That's correct.
And so the LLP goes with the Aducey, it just all goes together?
Yes, it's all together, lowercase.
Thank you. We allow 10 minutes for people to appear for the hearings because sometimes people have technical difficulties. And so Mr. Aducey and both Ms. Bayraks, Isabella Harris is not present right now. She's the protestant in this matter.
I am actually her daughter.
Are you here?
Yes. I'll be representing her today.
Oh, okay. You're representing Isabella Harris. I'm going to spell Ms. Harris's name for the record.
Okay.
Her name is spelled Isabella Harris, Harris, Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. And can I get your name for the record?
My name is Evelyn Hanson, so EVELYNHANSON.
S-O-N?
Yes.
And Ms. Hanson, Ms. Harris did indicate that you would be representing her today.
Yes, she asked specifically that I do it for her.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to note that for the record.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Harris is granted conditional standing as a protestant today because in order to be granted full standing, she would need to appear in person, Ms. Hanson, but that just means that at the upcoming status hearing, she'll need to appear in person for that.
And when is that?
I'll give you the date in just a few minutes.
Okay. Perfect.
So I'm going to grant Ms. Harris conditional standing today. The board will grant her full standing at the status hearing.
Perfect.
We'll just proceed.
Okay.
The next thing that we do is to schedule the upcoming proceedings, which is going to be a mediation, a status hearing, and a protest hearing. I'll give you the dates for the status and protest hearing first. And so Ms. Hanson, I'll send you, both you and Ms. Harris, a WebEx invitation to attend the status hearing. Is that what I'm doing?
Sure. Yeah, that would work.
Oh, and the other thing too, Mr. Aducci, I wanted to tell you that if you want both Ms. Bayraks to appear for the upcoming status hearing, I have no problem sending the WebEx invitation to both.
Yes, I would like them both to attend as well.
And so, ML Bayrak, you did receive a WebEx invitation to attend today because we started out with your email address.
Yes.
But is there one for the other Ms. Bayrak?
Yes. Yes.
I'll take that.
MERYEM at
Are you saying MERYEM or N?
M as a Mary.
M as in Mary, uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am. At cafegeorgetown.com.
At cafegeorgetown.com.
Yes, ma'am.
But Mr. Aducci, you're going to be the designated representative.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. The status hearing is scheduled for September 14. September 14, 2022 at 10:30 a.m. That's for the status hearing. The protest hearing is set for October 19, 2022 at 1:30. We need to set a date for mediation. We'll give you the next available day for mediation.
September 14th. Because we will come.
Ms.
Good
Fletcher,
morning.
Ms. Fletcher, with respect to the status meeting, both the Bayrock ladies will be out of the country on that date. Is it possible to reschedule it for a week later?
If you would be present, Mr. Aducci, that would be fine.
I like to be with the
So let me tell you what happens at the status hearing. At the status hearing, what happens?
I don't think they can hear me though. Hello?
Yeah. Okay, could you, if anyone's not speaking, could you mute? I'm hearing a lot of background voices.
I'm sorry,
the
Ms. Fletcher,
status-
this is Commissioner Brown, and I couldn't get on because of the link, and so
okay.
I wasn't sure if you could hear me at all, but I'm glad you can hear me now. I will go back on mute.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Mhm.
At the status hearing, what happens is the board wants to know the status of the mediation. So nothing significant happens at the status hearing. That's all they want to know. It's not the protest hearing. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes. When you show up for your status hearing, you will have had mediation. If the matter has been resolved prior to the status hearing, we will cancel the status hearing because it won't be necessary. If the matter is not resolved prior to the status hearing, then you show up and the board just wants to know the status. So if you feel that you need to be present for that, you can make a request to the ABC board to reschedule the status hearing, but nothing significant happens at the status hearing.
Request to change the date of the status hearing.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ducci, what did you say? I missed the first part.
I said that in light of what you said, we will rescind our request to extend the date of the status hearing.
Okay, that's good, because that really is all that happens. The status hearing takes about 1 minute once the case is called.
Understood.
And if the parties have not resolved the matter by the time of the status hearing, you tell the board that the board is going to restate the protest hearing date of October 19, which you already have.
Very good.
And that's all that's going to happen. I will give you the next available day for mediation. And then you can let me know if you're available for that. The next available day for mediation is Wednesday, August the 3rd. That's Wednesday, August 3rd, anytime between 10 and 1:30 on August the 3rd.
That's fine with us.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Adusi. So Ms. Hanson, what about, I know you may not know the schedule of Ms. Harris, but what about you?
I assume that after this call, she'll be taking over this whole ordeal because I'll be going back to college in South Carolina. She's on vacation this week, so she's out of the country, but she'll be back in less than a week.
So I'm going to go ahead and set the mediation for August the 3rd.
I'm around for
And send out the WebEx invitations for that. I understand she's out of the country and that may or may not be a good day for her, but I'll go ahead and proceed.
We actually
And-
both to be available on that day. Yeah.
Okay. So, so what about Miss Bayrax? Are you available on August 3rd?
Yes.
Mr. Aducci, do you have any particular time that you like between 10 and 1:30?
10 o'clock is fine. Oh, sorry.
10 o'clock is fine, or whatever it's convenient for you.
Well, then we'll make it 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Second. Mediation is scheduled for August 3rd on Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m. and I will send out the WebEx invitation for that. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to conclude the roll call hearing in this matter. And if you have any questions, you can reach me at laverne.fletcher
Okay.
at dc.gov. I think that's on the WebEx invitation somewhere, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so feel free to contact me if you have any questions beyond this point, and thank you for coming this morning. The roll call hearing is concluded. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ms. Hanson. The next case on the calendar is DC Food Market. This is case number 22PRO00066. DC Market Inc., 2200 16th Street Southeast, license number ABRA 106962. This is a retailer class B for a substantial change, request for change of hours. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet. My name is Laverne Fletcher, conducting the roll call hearing as the board's agent. Is Mr. Empress present? Empress is spelled MPRAS on behalf of DC Food Market. Is anyone present on behalf of DC Food Market?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. I think my lawyer's in there too.
Okay, thank you. Could you state your name and spell it for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Ephraim G. Kasai,
You spell it?
Eprame. Last name is spelled Kassaye.
Thank you.
Ms. Fletcher, I apologize, I was muted.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Empress. I knew you were there somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Is that spelled Kassa? Did you say YE?
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very
And
welcome.
Mr. Empress, would you spell your name for the record, please?
Sure. First name is Emmanuel, Emanuel. Last name is Empress, spelled Mpras.
Thank you. And is anyone present on behalf of the protestants? Ms. Moore, I know you're there because you told me a few minutes ago. Yeah, I think you're on mute.
Yes, ma'am. There's only one that was able to attend, and that should be Miss Katrina Wilder.
That's okay. Ms. Moore,
Here.
you're representing the group of five. I see that you're a commissioner, but the protest was filed by a group of five, and you're representing the group of five. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Could you spell your name for the record, please?
It's Laneice.
And the last name?
Moore, Moore.
And you said there's one other person present from your group?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if that person could state their name and spell it for the record, please.
Miss Wilder.
Can you hear me?
We'll give her a minute.
I can hear you.
Okay. Did you sign the protest letter, Ms. Wilder? I see, is your last name Flowers? Miss Moore, is that Katrina Wilder Flowers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Wilder, would you please spell your name for the record? Miss Wilder may be having some technical difficulties. I'm going to spell her name for the record. I have it right here. Her first name is Katrina. It's Katrina. Wilder, Wilder. Flowers, Flowers. Is that correct, Ms. Moore?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to give her credit for being present, although we can't hear her right now. I know she's here somewhere, which means, Ms. Moore, that your group is going to be granted conditional standing as a protestant. The ABC board needs to see at least 5 people in person. 2 of you were present today. That means that 2 more need to appear at the upcoming status hearing.
Ms. Fletcher, I have a little bit to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Empress.
All right. The protest, this protest is insufficient and pursuant to the DC code, and they should not be granted status. Pursuant to
Go ahead, Mr. Empress.
Pursuant to 1602.2 of the DC Code, 23-1602.2, protest is not legally sufficient as it does not state what the protestants are seeking to protest, nor does it sufficiently identify who is being protested. In this instance, the applicant has applied to expand its hours of sales. That has not been properly protested or even mentioned. The protestants have generically referenced DC Food Market. DC Food Market is not up for renewal, and it's not a new application, and it can't be protested solely in its entirety. The protest states that DC Food Market will have the protest is not an actual protest, as the submission does not state that anyone is protesting, but rather I'd like the protest as well. And in the protest, no mention is made to the application, nor is it referenced by case number or in any other manner. Also, pursuant to 1602.3, all protests shall and contain the mailing address of each protestant. Well, that's obviously lacking on this protest. No mailing addresses are listed in the protest, which makes the protest improperly filed, legally insufficient, and thus invalid. And no common grounds for this protest as required have been stated or implied either. Now, 25-601A2 grants a group of no fewer than 5 residents or property owners of the district sharing common grounds for their protest. The protest as submitted, that's not sufficient as a protest of a group of 5, but if you read it, it's basically 5 separate individuals who, as the protest clearly states, I would like to protest, not that we are protesting. And nowhere do they claim to be a group of 5 people. They share common grounds, and we can't even determine that they all live anywhere near the applicant's business or in any affected areas. No addresses were provided. So, and then furthermore, the individuals have not identified anyone in writing to represent them, and somebody cannot arbitrarily just stand up and say, I represent the group. Pursuant to 23-1602.3, if it is a group, they must identify as a group who is representing them. And it's usually done or always done in writing, and that's not the case here. So based on all that I've mentioned, and I also must state that shall means you must do it, and that has been defined in District of Columbia v. Heller. So based on all that I said, this can't stand as a proper protest.
Mr. Empress, just so that you know, related to the part related to the designated representative, that actually was the case at some point in the past. The designated representative had to be designated prior to roll call, and so that didn't happen in this case. Somewhere along the line, that shifted, Mr. Empress, and so now, as long as the designated representative appears at the status hearing, the board does not require necessarily that the designated representative show up. So that one thing did change. Related to the basis upon which to file the protest, the protestants did state that it's being filed based on peace, order, and quiet. They put enough in the protest letter for us to consider them to be filing a protest against the DC food market based on the negative effect on peace, order, and quiet in the neighborhood. Mr. Empress, you are right about the addresses. So the signatures are here. There are no addresses here. The regulations do require that protests are in writing with an address. Ms. Moore, I'm going to ask you, do you live in proximity? Where do you live? Do you live in proximity to DC Food Market? You can just say yes or no. I'm just asking.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the point that Mr. Empress is making is correct. At this point, we don't know where you live. Sometimes people file protests and they don't live anywhere near the establishment at all. And so without your address, we don't know where you live or the other 4 protestants. Ms. Wilder, can you hear me?
Yes,
So
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you now. So do you live in close proximity to the establishment? Ms. Wilder, can you hear me? Do you live in close proximity to the establishment? Ms. Moore, does Ms. Wilder live in close proximity to the
Yes. Can
establishment?
you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I live right here. I live right here on W Street Southeast.
So I'm just asking these questions for the record. What was the other issue you raised, Mr. Empress? There's no address. I addressed the basis, the peace, order, and quiet. And I addressed that the protest letter says they're filing a protest against the DC food market, which we accepted that as knowing who they were filing a protest against, but Mr. Empress, you raised another issue as well.
1 second, please.
Okay.
There's a few. Let me see which one's missing.
Well, I can tell you that, Ms. Moore, just so that you know, Mr. Empress mentioned that, the DC municipal regulations require you to provide your address. That is true. For that reason, I'm going to dismiss the protest, but this is what you can do. What you can do, you'll receive a board order dismissing the protest, but you may ask the board to reinstate your protest, and explain to them why they should. So what you're missing here is an address. We've got your name, your email address, which we do ask you to provide if you have one. So we appreciate that. But there are no addresses, and so we don't know where you live, which we would need to know.
I would like to apologize to the board. This is my first protest and so I do apologize, and
No problem.
yes, all of the members who signed the protest are community members, and actually I'm right
Yes.
around the corner. And yes, I will ask them to reinstate my protest, so I am going to do that.
And so, Ms. Moore, it's not a problem. You know, it's a lot. Sometimes when you first file a protest, there are a lot of rules you don't know. But you can just establish with the board where you actually live. And then if the board grants standing to your group, which is what I would have done today, we'll just get the case back on track and move along.
Okay.
You have any questions about that at all, Ms. Moore or Ms. Wilder? The board's agent doesn't have the authority to grant standing if all of the requirements aren't met. Oh, I'm the board's agent, so I don't have the authority to overrule a rule.
Okay.
Okay, well, Ms. Moore, thanks for your understanding.
You're welcome, and thank you for your understanding.
You're very welcome, and I will go ahead and conclude the roll call hearing. Mr. Empress, well, you know, you get the board order and opportunity to respond. You know what happens next.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming.
Nice to see you again.
Maybe I'll see you. Maybe I'll see you again. I don't know.
Yes, ma'am. Everybody have a good day.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
too.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. The roll call hearing in this matter is concluded. The next case on the calendar is Wah Sing Restaurant. This is case number 22 PRO 00067 KYW Inc. 2521 Pennsylvania Avenue Southeast, license number ABRA 000514. This is the retailer Class C ABRA license renewal. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet. Ms. Brown, did you, 1 second. I have to check something. Give me 1 minute, please. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet. My name is Laverne Fletcher, conducting the roll call hearing as the board's agent. Is anyone present on behalf of Wah Sing Restaurant? Is anyone present on behalf of the restaurant? Anyone present on behalf of ANC 7B?
I believe I am.
Hello, Ms. Brown.
Hello.
Would you please spell your name for the record?
Sure. Tiffany Brown, Tiffany, middle initial. I'm sorry. I have something going on in my house.
Okay.
Take this one. ANC Commissioner Tiffany Brown, Tiffany, middle initial L, Brown, BROWN, the chair of ANC Commission 7B.
Ms. Brown, Is there a pending agreement with you and the restaurant? Have you had any discussions prior to today?
No, the SMD commissioner has not been able to get in touch with the Wasim establishment. They've back out. We've reached out to them.
The application is dismissed because the applicant is not present today. Ms. Brown, once that board order is issued, you receive a copy of it, and if they seek reinstatement, you'll have an opportunity to respond to that.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Fletcher. I have another
Okay.
question. Do I have another hearing today?
No, believe it or not, just this one.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, maybe I'll see you soon.
Yes. All
Bye,
right.
Ms. Brown. Have a nice day.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye. The roll call hearing is concluded. Is there anyone else on the line that I need to talk to that I have not spoken with yet? Okay, well, the roll call hearings for today are concluded. I'm going to sign out now.